So we're on page 19. If you have the book, by the way, U squared. I'll get started here on page 19. Welcome into everybody, by the way. And here we go. Rely on the unseen forces. Improving your performance by an order of magnitude, U squared, can sound unrealistic if you think of it as something you have to do all by yourself. But you don't. Forget the idea that you should be able to see tangibly in full view all the resources necessary to leverage your performance so dramatically. There are resources you can access that cannot be seen, and they are far greater and more powerful than the resources you might be or resources you might readily observe. Absence of evidence is not evidence of their absence. Think of an iceberg where you see only the tip of what's really there. Just as real, though out of sight, are invisible resources ready to make a profound difference in what you can achieve. All you have to do is open up and let them in. Quantum leaps are merely the process of using yourself and your world differently, thus allowing other possibilities that exist to actually materialize. Your willingness to make a quantum leap is the enabler. You do not achieve your dreams, your full potential, through your own singular struggle. As mentioned earlier, neither raw effort nor sheer willpower is the answer. Trying as hard as you can will fall short of taking you as far as you're capable of going. You must take advantage of the support systems you can't see. In a sense, making the quantum leap is like playing bridge. You don't bid your hand alone. Your bidding is also based on the power of your partner's cards. You don't really get to see those cards until it's time to play them, but you trust that they will bring valuable strength to your own hand. The unseen forces are phantom powers that cannot be fully explained. Maybe they strike you as rather mystical phenomena, but the truth is they will make amazing contributions to your efforts. These unseen forces seem to operate through your subconscious mind, mental imagery, intuition, and luck. You might be hit with a flash of inspiration during a moment of solitude. A creative solution to a problem may come to you in a dream. A breakthrough idea can flash through your mind while you're visualizing your goal. Somehow the resources you need just seem to appear by coincidence. Paint a vivid picture in your mind for these forces to know precisely what you want. In one way or another, the unseen forces will dazzle you with their impact. Count on it. And that's basically touching on the premise of psychocybernetics, where you vividly imagine exactly where you want to go. Don't force yourself every day to figure out the path there. Simply allow your mind to wander. Allow the creative mechanism to take over, and subconsciously you'll get your answers in bursts of creativity, like in the shower, having a shower thought, or while on a walk, or whatever it is that you're doing throughout the day. These quantum leaps come easy when you plug into this remarkable power source. You don't have to understand it totally in order to use it. Just as you don't have to comprehend the intricate physics of energy to flip a lamp switch and flood the room with light. When you focus constantly on a clear picture of what you want to accomplish and move toward it confidently, the unseen forces will rally to your support. These unknowns, these invisible resources, are the most powerful factors available to assist you in making the quantum leap U squared. And the next chapter says, choose a different set of risks. Going for the quantum leap feels chancy. The risk hit you as rather apparent and may be quite threatening, but you must stack them up against the hidden risk you accept when you decide to live the status quo. Ask yourself what you're risking if you do not go for the quantum leap. The risk is you won't get what you really want out of life. You have to understand that you can never escape risk. It's not something you can decide to live with or without. Something is always at stake. You can only decide which risks to take. And that's a big one, by the way. There's a risk to everything in life. This risk-averse thinking of like, I can't risk it, is a risk in and of itself. Like the risk of not doing anything also has a tremendous cost. You're never doing anything with no risk in life. Even refusing to play the game is a risk. Going your own way is a risk. Detaching from society is a risk. Engaging with society is a risk. Everything is, guys. From starting a business, that's a risk, to not starting the business. That's a risk to your financial future. It's inescapable. It's a part of life. Whether you choose to go for the quantum leap or follow your usual routines, you're putting something on the line. So choose carefully, and don't kid yourself with the idea that playing it safe by living with the status quo gives you your best odds. That may be the surest way of losing. Quantum leaps do mean that to some degree you must move beyond the zone of familiarity, security, and comfort, but you can make the jump to U squared without being reckless or impulsive. Frankly, making a quantum leap is not merely gambling. It's not a crapshoot. You simply move on an opportunity you've been ignoring. You abandon your excuses. You reframe the problem. You take a completely different approach. A quantum leap is risking in a way that unmasks the truth, revealing how the only thing of significance that has been standing in the way is you. Risk believing in yourself. Risk acting on the assumption that you can succeed in making a quantum leap. Otherwise, the risk is that you will settle for only a fraction of what life has to give you. This isn't a case of taking a big chance. It's a matter of giving yourself a big chance. The major obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. Until you test the limits regarding what you can achieve, you can't truly know what your chances really are. And the odds change in your favor when you begin to challenge them. But if you try to minimize your vulnerability by avoiding a new set of risks, you'll kill your chances for a quantum leap. In the next chapter is trust in the power of pursuit. You've dreamed many dreams that were yours for the taking. In fact, almost all of them were well within your reach. Even now, most of what you dream can be yours. The simple secret is seeking, pursuit. Dreams begin to crystallize into reality when they're pursued. The world behaves differently when you're actually taking action to go after what you want. What you wish could be starts becoming. The dream moves in your direction, begins to come to you even as you reach for it. So this is what I talked about, this whole pursuit thing that he says. Dreams begin to crystallize into reality when they're pursued. Daily action, guys. It's all a fantasy. If you're just visualizing yourself being successful, but you don't take daily steps every single day, making yourself 1% better, every day moving towards the goal, it's a fantasy. It's wishful thinking. You're daydreaming. There's a big difference between visualizing and taking action, and that crystallizing into reality versus the guys that daydream all day about what life could be if they do this, if they do that. Had I done this, that's all useless. Until you put something into action, forward steps daily, it's a waste of time. You're not visualizing, you're not utilizing the imagination to its best potential. You're just using it as an escape mechanism of your mediocrity. How many guys daydream about a life that could be just to escape the current one that they're in? Right? This is like a double-edged sword. It could be used to empower you, but also used as a coping mechanism to sedate you from your life. It says, consider this, the dreams you have realized in life are those which you actively sought. That which you have achieved is what you decided to go for in one way or another. You can think positively all day long, all year, but positive action is what counts. Wishing, longing, wanting, desiring. These are not the same as pursuing a dream. These are mental states and can play an important role in the process of becoming U squared, but they are essentially passive. Pursuit, on the other hand, is active. Reaching for your dream is behaving, moving, and it shortens the distance between you and your desired objective. Most people confuse wishing and wanting with pursuing. Their desire for a dream may be desperate and deep, but when that desire fails to produce, they conclude the dream cannot be theirs. Actually, the only proof they have is that the longing is not enough. The data at hand merely prove that desire alone cannot deliver. Pursuit is what makes the difference. Reaching for what you want alters the odds immediately and drastically of getting it. What you want becomes part of a dynamic exchange with the world and you in partnership. When you act and extend yourself toward the dream, U squared is firmly based on the premise of pursuit. Quantum leaps require you take the offensive. You can't achieve exponential gains in your success from a defensive posture. You can't remain in a passive stance and make a quantum jump. You must move on the dream. This means you must leave the cover, the safety that goes with merely wishing for something. You must place your trust in action. Ask, seek, knock, and the dream shall be yours. The next chapter is seek failure. Quantum leap demands a willingness to make mistakes. You cannot hole up in the safe zone of behavior where you have beaten the odds of failing. An unwillingness to encounter defeat or run into problems outlaw quantum leaps. Unless you allow yourself to make mistakes, to fail, you will never have the opportunity to test the limits of what you're truly capable of accomplishing. You must realize that if you're experiencing no difficulties, problems, pain, you probably have aimed too low. You've leveled off in your growth and achievement. You probably are far from reaching your limits. So think of problems or pain or slippage in performance as a positive sign. A performance lag ordinarily occurs at the very outset when you are making a quantum leap. It's the pause during which you're poised for the jump, the temporary loss of momentum that occurs in the process of changing gears. You deliberately destabilize yourself when you break out of the habit patterns that present the status quo. You create some inner chaos for yourself. So be prepared for the possibility of confusion, anxiety, and failure. That's part of opening yourself up to a new methodology that has the potential to deliver exponential performance gains. So often in life, it seems that things first get worse on the way towards getting better. Be prepared for that sort of development. Problems belong in the process. They're part of the equation that produces U squared. They're not proof that your ambitions are futile or that you should give up. As someone has said, everything looks like a failure in the middle. You can't bake a cake without getting the kitchen messy. Halfway through surgery, it looks like there's been a murder in the operating room. If you send a rocket towards the moon, about 90% of the time it's off course. It fails its way to the moon by continually making mistakes and correcting them. At the outset, you may feel high because going for the quantum leap is heady stuff. But then the hard reality of problems may slap you in the face. Progress often masquerades as trouble. It's easy to lose faith because other people may withdraw their support and be critical of your efforts. That plus your own anxieties and uncertainties can tempt you to turn on yourself. This is the crucial point in the process. Don't give up. Failure belongs here. It's a sign of progress. The stress will seduce you toward retreat to the safety of the status quo, the trap of the familiar. Just remember this. Failure does not mean you're defeated. Actually, the struggle gives you strength. It's like tempering steel or the soreness involved in developing muscle. Difficulties are just evidence that you're learning and progressing. So go looking for failure and then use it. Don't interpret problems or breakdowns as proof that you should quit, but instead take them as evidence of your growth and improvement. Failure is a resource. It helps you find the edge of your capacities. And the next one is get uncomfortable. Quantum leaps jerk you out of your comfort zone. Prepare yourself for a pretty wild ride. You're going to cover some unfamiliar terrain and encounter obstacles you never faced before. It can feel like the safety chain linking you with behavior patterns that worked in the past is being stretched to the limit. At times, you may wonder if the situation is about to spin out of control. The normal reaction is to hold on tightly, but you're going to have to learn to let go. U squared is achieved through release. So turn loose if you want to jump. Don't be surprised if you grow uneasy. That's a predictable part of the process. When you take the quantum leap, you ride the situation, but you don't really control it all that much. In fact, the only way to control it is by 1, knowing where you're going, and 2, continuing the pursuit, and 3, learning from your mistakes. A quantum leap is an act of faith, exhilarating and possibly scary at the same time. You have to give up a large degree of security and safety, plow through greater amounts of ambiguity and confusion and uncertainty, wrestle with a totally new set of problems, invite failure, and possibly contend with criticism from other people who have been part of your support group in the past. Make you uncomfortable? That's a good sign. If you're experiencing no anxiety or discomfort, the risk you're taking probably isn't worthy of you. The only risks that aren't a little scary are the ones you've outgrown. A high comfort level provides solid evidence that you're playing it safe, not growing, not really testing your limits at all, and not in the process of a quantum leap. You might be making gradual progress, that's possible, but you're not going for a breakthrough. U squared carries you beyond your commonplace everyday habits and calls for a little more nerve. So just go into this expecting a touch of anxiety. Uneasiness is a predictable psychological reaction when the quantum leap is underway. It's been said that if you will do the thing you fear, death of fear is certain. Courage is not the absence of fear and anxiety. It's proceeding in spite of those feelings. So press on. Okay. The next chapter here is open your gifts. You have many gifts that you've never opened. These gifts of talent, ability, and reach that are yours for the taking. The people we call gifted are different from the crowd in one very special way. They accept their gifts. They let it happen. The high achievers, the persons you admire, are the individuals who open their gifts. These winners have more gifts because they claimed them, took them out of wrapping and used them. Now it's time for you to do something with your gifts. Claim them and create them. Reach for them, and they materialize. Use them and they grow to serve you still better. If you look at those particular skills you have developed over the years and the talents you've exhibited, you'll find that they're gifts you opened and enjoyed. But how many others are there within your reach? For every gift you've opened over the years, there are hundreds that you never unwrap and taken out of the package. This unused potential hides there, just waiting to play a role in your quantum leap. When you make a quantum leap, you find out many new things about yourself. U squared is a fascinating experience in self-discovery. A transformation occurs, a metamorphosis. Think of a stripped caterpillar humbly crawling along the stem of a milkweed plant a few inches from Mother Earth, changing into a strikingly beautiful monarch butterfly that soars high in the air and bravely journeys thousands of miles in its yearly pilgrimage. To become a monarch, to free those shining auburn wings, to fly high and free, the creature must break out of a cocoon of safety and open its gifts. Open more of yours. Find your wing. And lastly, I think it ends on fall in love. And it says, quantum leaps won't happen if you're living a life with a lukewarm heart. Passion is a very important part of the process. It fires the soul and fills the spirit, energizing your heart and mind for a quantum leap to a higher plane of performance. Passion also keeps you going when you're hit with problems and uncertainty. But passion itself must be fueled, and you feed the flame with visions of a dream that is dramatic. Does that sound familiar? from Psycho-Cybernetics. The emotional intensity inside must burn hot enough to protect you against the chilling effects of doubt, uncertainty, criticism, and failure. Only deep desire can generate such heat. For you to care this intensely, of course, there must be something worth caring about, something remarkable, special, and precious enough to light the fire in your heart. This means you must loosen the limits on your thinking and give yourself permission to pursue what you want the most. The climate is right for a quantum leap only when you're passionately drawn to a particular goal. So let your deepest desires direct your aim. Set your sights far above the reasonable target. The power of purpose is profound only if you have the desire that stirs the heat or the heart. The inner drive must be strong enough to carry you past the point of wishful thinking. The dream must consume you, control you, drive you to action, disallowing half-hearted effort in the pursuit. Quantum leaps are an act of love, a passionate statement of how you care for the thing you seek. Only an emotional move holds the power to carry you the distance from you to you squared. Let the heart take charge of your body. If you have a magnificent obsession, you are poised for a quantum leap. Oh, we got a couple more. Okay. Make your move before you're ready. So don't be a perfectionist. Don't try to have all the answers. Don't bog down in getting prepared for this. Whatever else you need will come as you go. A person could make a career out of laying the groundwork to do something really big. Please understand, you don't prepare for a quantum leap. You make it and fine-tune your approach. You go for it instead of forever getting ready so you'll be sure you get it right. Zero defects is a hostile concept in the pursuit of U squared. First, you act. Then you frame out the details of your strategy. Move on your dream. Start. And let what happens help you develop a coherent game plan. Mobility is the crucial element. Strategy formulation then evolves naturally out of your discovery process. You'll discover, once underway, that you know more than you know. Just trust your instincts. Once again, a quantum leap is something you are already prepared to do. It's not some absurd, wild-eyed scheme that calls for a fantastic stroke of luck just to have an outside chance of working. It's not an example you reach exceeding your grasp. And it's most definitely not a matter of going for some grand goal that calls for painstaking preparation. A quantum leap is a move that's yours for the taking right now. It represents a giant step you can make merely by deciding to and opening yourself up to the resources presently available to serve you. Getting ready is quite frankly a stalling tactic, an act of anxiety. A con game, you're working on yourself. You are already positioned to escape to a higher plane of performance. If you wait until you can get it perfect, you'll never get it at all. It's time to start now. U squared can only occur in the present. Here's the final one. It says, look inside for the opportunity. It's a very short one too. Everything else that's needed right now comes from inside you. The opportunity, the timing, the power to perform, these are in you, not in the situation. The formula for U squared, the strategy for making the quantum leap, has been covered here. You have those answers. The answers to questions that remain must come from the voice within. Now you must listen to yourself. Those are the sounds no one else can hear. Your dreams, your desires, the thoughts that burn the hottest in your mind, they carry the messages that help you find your own magnetic north. They point the way toward the breakthrough to U squared. Look inside at what pulls at your consciousness. For there you'll find direction. Everything else is in position, waiting for you. Just do it. Make the quantum leap. And that ends our coverage of U squared, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will leave the stage for you. Any thoughts?
Not being ready is always a limiting factor to a lot of people. I know that I fall into that. Consistently saying that, hey, I'm not ready, I need to find out more, etc. Sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and trust in your own capabilities and not stay stuck on not making a decision, because stagnation doesn't breed anything. You have to be able to be kind of at a crux to be able to push forward and advance.
Mm-hmm. And there's a risk in never starting either. Go ahead, brother.
I love there's risk in not starting. That's very helpful. I got 2 points to add. One is cumulative focus over everything. There's just by making it the sole focus and almost exclusively to nothing else, it can feel sometimes boring, or it could feel like maybe I'm not smart. Look how much work I have to put in. Apparently I'm not a genius, and I'm getting there because I'm just driving so hard. But that's exactly what works. That's like practicing the guitar, practicing martial arts, whatever you do, that insane focus to the exclusion of other things. It incredibly works because you're spending time in the correct environment. You're practicing You should be learning from your errors as you're practicing, and you get smarter and better. Your unconscious mind works on it when you go to sleep because it's the main focus every single day. You're not middling, and you're making it maximum, massive priority. It works. Whenever I've done that, it's worked. It's also felt like maybe I'm not that smart. There's an element of not being smart. That's a part of this. It's just be a good workhorse, just one foot in front of the other. Not that you're not thinking about what you're doing. It's just you're not some hocus pocus creative fuck that's going to like press a button and it all works. You literally have to sweat, and almost like being on the treadmill. You just got to keep going. So that's number one. And then number two is focus on what you can do, not what you should be able to do. So, when we go to start something, if I had more money, I could start this right. Or if I was more like this or more like that, I could start this right. That's wrong because you don't have that power. The power you have is what's available. For example, I just lost track myself because my back pain is fucking nuts. And it's, every time I stand up, sit down, it's like I'm getting fucking punched super fucking hard. I'm getting spasms and blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. But here's the deal. I can work on my diet. And in the last couple months, I've been feeling sorry for myself. I lost track. I'm suffering greatly. So I started to overindulge in food, and I gained some fucking fat. The truth is I could be really fucking lean with a bad back because if my protein's high and my calories are generally low and I'm still getting my lift in a little bit here and there, I could still be very fucking lean. I have no excuse. So I can work on what I can work on. And then as that's improving, I'm also working on my mobility and healing. It'll take the time it takes, but the secret is working on what you can. So you have to take your mind off your suffering. You have to take your mind off your limiting factor and put it on what you have ability over, what you have power over. So I have power over my diet. I have power over my hydration. I have power over my sleep. I have power over my learnings, and I have some power with the healing of my mobility, just a little. I could still look great like that. I can still do it. I just can't do cardio. I just can't do a lot of other things. So it's take your mind off what you can't do, put it on. Like, so if you're working and you have some nuts, miserable job and you have like 4 hours a week where you can be creative, focus on that. And then during your work time, maybe listen to podcasts or something. And don't put energy into the woe is me. I can't do it because of this reason. Find the little catch 22 where you have some space to work and push on that. And what it does is it grows. And that's where the book comes in. Quantum leaps will occur. Good lucks will occur. Your goal moves to you as you move towards it. And minimally, you're cultivating the correct attitude of I'm a can-do person, regardless of my circumstances. And over time, the circumstances tend to change and you get lucky, you get better, you get stronger. And then some asshole will show up and say, you always had it easy. So that's my second point.
I agree.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Thank you,
I agree. So there's a saying in Romanian that, like, I don't know, it's one of those weird things that just get burned into your brain. And it's a simple quote. It's a saying that says, if you chase two chickens, you won't catch one. And I was just sitting at the dinner table, talking to my parents. You know, I came back from, I don't know, Phoenix or California. I can't remember, so long ago, but I was telling them about what I was wanting to do in my business, the kind of other things on the side I wanted to expand. And my mom just told me randomly, she's like, there's a saying, if you chase two chickens, you won't get one. And that just like, it completely just pictured that in my brain. I have two chickens I'm running after, and I'm trying to catch both, so neither is possible. And I felt like that in my decision making because I'm chasing so many different things. I feel like I'm performing at a subpar level of what I already have, or I can't dedicate enough focus on the new idea to succeed anyways. So I kind of took that to heart. Well, I did take that to heart. So now I have a very tunnel focus kind of tunnel vision effect on everything I decide to do. And I still catch myself chasing multiple things, but I shut it down. But for example, if this is a recent one that
can I say something really briefly to better illustrate that? I actually chased some chickens in Thailand. I was at this little village and they're like, I was with this family. They're like, dude, we're going to make you like, would you like dinner? And I was like, yeah. They're like, can you grab the chicken? And I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Okay. And, this was like in a little hut, no running water, no, nothing like that. It was just a straight hut. And I was hanging out with this fam, so I had to catch the chicken. There was no pen. Fucking chickens were loose. And the fucking things can fucking run. And I was fit. I was fit and lean. So I'm chasing this chicken, and I started chasing a couple different chickens. And you get stupid because you're like, let me just get the one that's closest. But here's the deal. If you focus on one chicken, I really hope everyone's listening deeply. It's stupid. It's awesome. If you chase one chicken, you learn how that fucking chicken runs. It runs differently than the others. They all have a little personality, some more aggressive, some more calm, some more whatever. So I focused on one, and I started to learn how it moved. And after about 20 fucking minutes, because I've never caught one in my life, I've never done this before, that after about 20 minutes, I figured out how it was fucking moving. And I was like, oh, it's going to do this, this, and this, and then I can catch it. And so I sampled it a couple times, and it did the same move. I was like, okay, I'm ready for it. And I faked it out, and it did its normal right, left, right thing. And I fucking caught it. So the advantage, and then I took its head off, and we plucked it and ate it. And what you learn is when you chase one chicken or you chase one goal, you learn the ups and downs of that goal, and you learn the nuance of it. So it kind of becomes obvious. It becomes obvious, and that's where you can feel maybe not that smart. You're like, oh, this shit's just presenting itself. This is very easy. I just do this, this, and this. Now I'm solved. But when you chase the two goals or the two chickens, you never learn the habit or the rhythm of either one of those things. And so you can't really game it. You're just struggling. You can't literally apply strategy to it because you fucking don't know the problem well enough. And that's the big disadvantage. Yeah.
A focus and investment issue. Yeah. If you remove option B and you're completely focused on option A, you start to learn those intricacies, right? And there's also something else that pushes you. It's the fact that you don't have a fallback plan. You must succeed with plan A. Gives you a kind of a different level of energy in that pursuit that U squared says. Like you'll pursue something much harder, with much more vigor if it's your only option, as opposed to like you're not going to be willing to paddle really hard on your bike to chase down 30 different things. Like I'll coast it. One day I'll roll up on something really, the thing that's the slowest. But if you just got one option and it's like it's running away from you, you're going to paddle super hard to fucking keep up.
Absolutely. And I was getting tired, and so I just picked what I thought would be the best option. And then it started, it showed its little strategy, and I was like, oh, I can adapt to that. And then it wasn't force; it was knowing how that fucking thing was going to move, so I could anticipate it and fake it out, and I got it.
And this doesn't mean, by the way, I want to touch on this too, because guys will get scared hearing that, and they'll go, well, I don't want my life to be defined by this one choice, like this one thing I'm chasing. It doesn't have to. It doesn't necessarily represent that. So when I started my business, I had the tunnel vision applied to it. There was no plan B. I've told this story before. It's do or die. I was going to end up homeless if this didn't work. There was no option to fail. So I learned inside out everything I needed. And I was chasing that goal, paddling my ass off because failure behind me looked horrendous. I was going to end up with nothing. But that doesn't mean that that's where you stop. Once you become proficient, just like the book says, once you become proficient at something, say running this business, you start to automate it away. It becomes automatic. Running your business is no longer a giant challenge. It's something akin to brushing your teeth. You learn the ins and outs. Everything that was something that you may be scared of is no longer a fear you have. You operate on instinct, basically, right? You become robotic with it because you know everything that needs to happen day in and day out. That then frees you to pursue other things which you will be bad at again, which you will have fears of failing with again. So that's where I started acquiring other skills. Like, oh, I have a successful business now. What do I do with all this money? What should I invest in? Should I learn this? Should I teach myself this? Okay, I have another idea. Let's do this. That's when you start to apply new ideas. That's when you chase different goals, when you've mastered the ones you're already after, when you become proficient enough to run them on autopilot. That's where you start to coast, like the book says, to where growth is no longer happening. Oh, wow, I've hit a new point here in success in my business. I need to hit another gear. I need to switch up again to a different speed because I'm now just coasting. I'm comfortable. There's no more growing. I've mastered this portion of my life, this thing that I chase, right? For example, say for me starting a business, but for other guys that starting a business and are running it successfully, you hit a block at which you plateau. Don't stop there. Build the next mountain to conquer. Make the journey hard.
It sounds
again.
like the natural evolution because